Well, hey friends, time for another Metal Dog tarot reading today. I am your reader, Heather Martell, and I'm curious about this new moon in Aries conjunct with Chiron, the planet, the wounded healer planet, followed up quickly by a conjunction much earlier in Aries between Mars and Saturn, and then Mercury joining them the next day. So those would be the 17th when we have the new moon, the 19th when we get the Mars-Saturn conjunction associated with needing structure to take action with, and then Mercury bringing communication into that action. I really think about Eight of Wands energy there on the 19th and the 20th. Or the 20th, it's like it's time to act, it's time to communicate, but Saturn provides the requirement that there be an actual plan. So I wanted to share a little bit from a Substack called Prosper Astral, and I've given the citation below in this article and quoted at length from it because I found it really fascinating, and it was why I was inspired to do this tarot reading. I'm not an astrologer, but it's really fun to notice how I am experiencing some kind of collective experience, and the tarot can pick up on that here. So let's see what happens when we do that. First of all, let me tell you about the Chiron conjunction. So this is at 26 degrees, almost 38, almost 27 degrees in Aries. So it's the end of Aries. If you don't know about that, that's all right. And as she writes, Aries has been doing very specific work since it entered this sign in 2018. And I remember that when it entered in 2018 because that's when I learned that I was born with Chiron, the wounded healer, this planet or star, in 6 degrees Aries. And it went back and forth and back and forth. And I really learned about this wound, the wound of identity. So let's see. For 8 years, as it has been excavating the wound around identity, the wound that says you do not have the right to take up space, to want what you want, to be seen as you actually are, rather than the edited version you learn to show the world. This wound is specific. It is the place where you learn that being direct, visible, or self-directed had consequences, that the unfiltered version of you was too much, not enough, or fundamentally unacceptable. Chiron in Aries has spent 8 years slowly proving that belief wrong through the repetitive experience of surviving every time you chose to show up as yourself instead of as the version other people preferred. A new moon conjunct Chiron does not begin something comfortable. It says the wound is not the obstacle. The wound is the qualification. Whatever you have been afraid to start because you were not healed enough, whole enough, ready enough, Chiron conjunct this moon says the readiness was never going to come from being fixed. It comes from being willing to begin while still carrying the thing that hurts. So if you relate to this is talking to you, the person who has been building courage for months and has run out of reasons to wait. The fear has not gone anywhere. The doubt has not been resolved, but the tolerance for staying still has finally been exceeded by the cost of remaining where you are. So if you relate to this, let's see what the cards say. I'm going to give you a 6-card reading. We'll look at the bottom of the deck, which is the underlying energies, see what comes up there. It's always interesting. And then I'll clarify with another deck and see if we can squeeze some more information out here. Let's go. All right. So I'm going to be using a very sweet little deck that's been talking to me quite a bit lately called the Star Seeker Tarot. And I'm trying not to make a lot of noise while I shuffle it here. There's a Star Seeker Tarot. And we'll just see what happens. I'm shuffling. I'm going to split. And then I'm going to pull these 6 cards. One at a time, I'll talk you through them. Okay, first of all, let me remind myself, the first card is about the wound of identity. And this is wonderful. The Fool card, which I always associate the Fool with Aries. It's the beginner. People think you're crazy. They think you can't do it. You can see she's walking on ice cubes. This deck uses these slippery looking steps quite a bit. She's just a new being setting forth. The Fool usually travels light. So this means that you have left behind all the belongings. You're starting new. You're starting on an adventure. You're full of optimism. And yes, the Fool is something that people call people that they don't trust, that they don't believe in. And so you're walking away from all those people. And they might be, have their hair on fire behind you. There's often a little dog in a Fool card that's saying, let's go. The Fool usually carries just a tiny little bag or just the bare necessities that you need to set out on this adventure. So that is a beautiful wound of identity here. The beginner, the newcomer. You're setting out on a journey and you're full of optimism. And so you've been shamed around that, or you've struggled to do that. You've struggled to leave, to admit it's over, and to begin again. Okay, so what does this wound qualify you for? Wow, it qualifies you for the Star, for wish fulfillment, divine support, and healing. Beautiful. She is naked in the waters of her feelings. She is pouring the waters out on the land, back into the waters. This is healing. It's a card of Aquarius. It's a lovely journey of healing that you are setting out on. That seems kind of obvious to me, but I always think that nakedness in tarot speaks to us of being authentic, of not performing, not putting on a costume, right? The clothes don't matter. Who you are, who you know yourself to truly be, that is your wish. And the wound of identity very, very clearly is about being who you are in the world. So we're not getting much more than the astrologer gave us yet, but let's keep asking. So what, as I lose my voice, so what have Saturn and Mars decided the plan or the structure should be? The Queen of Wands, sexiest card in the tarot, the passionate and creative character. She is the queen of the law of attraction. What she focuses on grows, right? So this is the structure that Saturn requires. That's really beautiful. I feel really confident when the Queen of Wands is the leader and the definer of structure, because she, to me, is related to the magician. But she uses this creative, expansive, emergent sense of the world as full of possibilities. Now, I just know a little bit about the law of attraction, and so when a reader that I follow, Mystic Witch Tarot, called the Queen of Wands the Queen of the Law of Attraction, I thought about, and this is what it means when I, your reader, talk about it, how if I focus on all the beautiful, positive things possible in the world, in this fool's journey that I go out on, and this healing process that I'm engaging in and that I must do, if I focus on that, this shall pass. But if I fill myself with fear and danger and threat and negativity and loss and lack, that too I can manifest. So this provides the structure. I'm not really seeing who you need to say anything to, but that's what Mercury brings to this. It's like you need to say something to somebody once you realize this. It could be you say it to yourself. It could be you say it to all the people, all the doubters. It could be you say it to the world that you're leaving behind as you set off on your fool's journey to this healing process. So what is it you need to say? You need to speak of your grief. And as you look behind you as the Five of Cups here. As she looks behind at all of her emotional losses, she is not yet ready to speak of love, the Two of Cups there, of the next part of her journey. So to me, what this says is you need to speak of your grief, and you need to speak to yourself about your grief and about what you feel. And if you have to talk to anyone around you at all, because I don't really see you needing to talk to anybody, you're to tell them about what you've lived through, what you've been through. You must speak honestly and bluntly about your grief, what you feel has been taken. And I think of grieving and of the past and making sense of the past, to get to what the wound qualifies you for, which is healing and wish fulfillment. The wish is not defined in this reading yet. Maybe when we clarify, it will become more clear. But when I think about speaking of the past, you have a choice of the kind of stories that you tell, right? So, what the Queen of the Law of Attraction, the structure that you've given to this wish of like, I'm going on a journey to heal. And, I'll see you doubters, but I'm off I go on my way. So it's really important, comes into me, to consider the story that you tell about the past upon your leaving. I personally think a constructive story where you take responsibility for your life and you do no harm. You speak truthfully and bluntly about yourself as a survivor. You say what happened. You say, I stayed too long. I let this happen. You forgive yourself for that, but be honest. You agreed to whatever it is you're walking away from, to like a performance in which you weren't yourself. I think about like my current wound of identity. It's really just meant that I preferred solitude. And so this reading really does actually reflect my own experience of the wound of identity. And I see the Two of Cups in the future. I see that right there. Like when I'm done speaking of my grief, when I've worked through the waters of my feelings about the past, then I get to play in the waters of this future, this Two of Cups. And then Five of Cups, there's always a Two of Cups, and there's always a new path. But you must speak of your grief here. Okay. What the tarot wants you to know. Let's see here. The Devil. Fantastic. All right, the tarot wants you to know the Devil. So this is your addiction. This is your codependence. This is your self-defeating thoughts and ideas. These are in play here. This is very much the wound. It shouldn't be taken lightly. I mean, what did I say? Since 2018, so 8 years we've been working through this wound of identity. It's been a long haul. It's been a long, slow, painful process. You have directly confronted this devil in you in some way. All the wound is coming from is, I doubt myself. I doubt who I am. I doubt that I am acceptable. And then there's people around you that will reinforce that doubt. There's also going to be people around you who are like totally have your back, like the dog in the Fool card, where I can't help but notice that your structure includes your cat, right? It includes a buddy who's got your back. Could be a pet, could be your inner child, it could be a person, another aspect of yourself. But the cat makes me think of the Strength card. And the Strength card is the card that beats the devil. And then you have a beautiful future, very kind of related to the Fool, the Page of Cups. This young believer, this hopeful, inspired, peaceful person at the beach, watching the sun set or rise. It feels like morning to me. So I'm from the Pacific, so whenever I see this kind of light, I think of sunset. What do you see? Also, I can just completely work my brain into ridiculousness. being my true self as I am right here, and have north, south, east, west turn in a way. Boy, I went to Greece and you never knew what direction you were looking on an island. You can look at the sun set from many directions relative to the ocean. You can watch the sunrise and the sun set in one day when you drive across an ocean. I don't know why I wanted to say that, but the future is sweet, it's new, it's open-hearted. This process of healing and wish fulfillment has led you not to a big grown-up commanding self. It's not the emperor, it's not the strength card, it's just a peaceful sweetness. You with your heart here at the ocean. That's really beautiful. All right, underlying energy for this. Let's see, we see the Hermit, and we see the King of Pentacles, and that's it. So first of all, the Hermit. This is you in solitude, setting out a much different way to set out from the Fool. You see they're going in different directions. I can never remember. This is recording, I don't know, as it looks in the mirror to me. Yeah, so everything's backwards to you. Okay, so the Hermit is going backwards. The Hermit goes alone and examines the past. What my wisdom comes from the past. This is a part of what you speak from here in grief. And then the Fool goes forward. So this is an underlying, this person, the Fool is young, but there's wisdom in you. There should be after 8 years. So you might reflect on the 8 years that you've just lived through. And then there is the King of Pentacles. He's a very earthy king. He's very much related to this tree. He's dependable and solid and certain of abundance. So these feel to me like aspects of you that are actually allowing you to just own yourself. They're allies that you have around you, like that cat, potentially. So they're here with you, these energies. All right. And that is the baseline reading. So now you may have had enough, and then I'll say goodbye. But I'm always, as a viewer, quite greedy to know more. And I'm going to give you more by clarifying with the Tarot of the Wild Unknown. Let's see. I have a kind of little table here. So it's going to require me to be a little crowded here. You can't see, you don't have to worry. I have this for you, my friend. Okay. So we're going to clarify the Fool, which is what? Let's see, about the wound of identity. So what about this Fool? Oh, pardon me, I have a little runny nose. I don't know why. Windy out here. Okay. This is so fun to do a reading about this today. It feels very, like when I read this essay, I was like, hell yeah. I'm always thinking, first thing I think is, I've been too much. I took too much space up. I should change. I should be different. And as much as I'm all about like taking my own inventory and asking for help to become my best self, I can overdo that. I can overdo it. So speaking of which, here is your first card to clarify the Fool. This is a 9 of Wands. It says, the struggle is almost over. If you are a 12-stepper, I think of that. I think of, you're almost there. You're almost there. That's what the 9 of Wands is. Then what? Then the Magician. We felt this presence in the structure, the Queen of Wands. So this is, you have all the tools that you need to live in the world that you want to make, world that you want to live in, to do magic, to change your mind. And here's Temperance. This is such a healing journey. It's like you're starting the steps in a program. You're starting a new therapy practice. You're starting like something that's about recovery. Temperance If you struggle with alcoholism, should always speak of that, of any kind of, temperance is the opposite of drinking. But really what it is like taking your emotions and taking your time to alchemize, and you just hold still. You're divinely supported here in temperance, but you're making magic with that divine support. So to me, as the Fool begins, she's got a lot going for her. She's tired. The Nine of Wands is a tired energy. It's the 8 years of struggle that you're walking away from. You have everything you need. Like there's that idea that Chiron, you're wounded, and you might have this idea, first I have to heal before I can begin. And this astrologer disagrees with that. Says the wound is what qualifies you. So with this wound, you are qualified to make the world that you want to live in. And temperance is like, it's gonna take time. Work with those feelings, work with your divine support. You have a lot of allies here, my little Fool. Okay, so that's the wound. What the wound qualifies you for: the Star, wish fulfillment, healing, authenticity. So let's see what we get here from our tarot deck to clarify. I was kind of expecting something, I don't know. The astrologer made me think, whoa, you're gonna really have something sharp to say to somebody when Mercury rolls in. Wheel of Fortune. I have been seeing this over and over in my readings for myself. This is really a card about how the fates turn to good and bad. Like, if you've been lucky, you might get unlucky for a while. Like, it's just about the vicissitudes of life, right? So it's out of your control. This change, there's something that's bigger than you that you're powerless over. If you have felt that you have been suffering, and I think when we talk about the wound of identity, like all of the stuff that's made it hard to be yourself in the world, like that is going to change. You're going to be helped. Luck is with you. There is clarity. There's some of the Mother of Swords. She's like, if you do not serve me, if you are not good for me, I'm going to cut you out. She is the boundary setter. And finally, there is the beautiful Ten of Cups. I'm seeing this a lot too right now. This is emotional fulfillment. It is family. It is true, healthy, conscious love. It is like the fulfillment of the emotional cycle. I mean, no doubt she's playing in it. So here we're caused to think about family and love. And that this qualifies you to be yourself, like the Star card, within your love communities. Whether it's a nuclear family or friend group, what is your community? What are your communities? You're qualified to be you here. The way that you do this is you act like the Mother of Swords. You are firm. You are clear. You set boundaries. I know she's going to tell somebody, at least herself, the truth about what she's grieving. All right? So that's really powerful help that is coming from this wound of never getting to be yourself, Like, if somebody's around you who doesn't appreciate how you are, the Queen of Swords will cut that person. Not cut them like, ouch, but like remove. Like, we're just, a friend once said it's like being a skilled butcher, the Queen of Swords. And I didn't really understand what that meant until she told me about the family of butchers that she comes from and the skill that it takes and the years and years of training and practice that it takes to be a skilled butcher. So glad to think of that today. So this is the structure that Mars, which is fire, which is Wands energy, combined with Saturn, which is a very earthy and feminine structural energy, the disciplinarian, right? So the Queen of Swords, or the Mother of Swords here, this fiercely firm little owl, she doesn't take any shit. Like we see another feminine presence and another style of being here in the Queen of Wands. You know, she's sexy. She is a fiery, erotic, creative, compassionate presence here. Lots of structure, though, that comes from focus and compassion. These are creativity. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Okay, there's some quick moving chariot energy. It's coming in fast. So here's you feeling trapped. You're a butterfly, but your mind says, I can't leave. So you want to leave like the chariot. You want to get the heck out, and you want to get out now. The chariot is heart forth, Cancerian energy. A little bit of like, F this, I'm out of here. But then she runs into her mind, and boom, she can't fly. She's up in her head. We know the wound will tell you you have to heal before you can go. Nope, that's not what Chiron, meeting the moon here, starting something, Saturn giving you structure, Mars ready to go, Mercury ready to say it. So then what? The Tower. Wow. What is built on a shaky foundation must come down. Yes, I am seeing this in the cards in the future lately, where I'm asking questions. So if you don't get out, if you don't do it, it will be done for you. That's what the Tower says to me. So there's some like fire here. There is lightning bolts and action, and you're stuck, but you're going to be kicked out if you don't leave yourself. So it doesn't matter what your head's saying. You're on your way. All right. So you're communicating when Mercury comes in and gets this structure. It's a weird kind of structure. It's strict in that it's like, you got to go now. And that's the feeling that I got from that reading. If you go and click on the link that I put in this article, you'll see that like, you're not going to have a choice to act, and you're not going to have a choice to speak, but you are going to have a nice structure. It looks creative. It looks sexy. You have your cat with you, but it's full of fire. It's full of momentum. And you may be doing it while your head's really screwed up in this Eight of Swords feeling. Okay, so what are you going to say? You're going to say something about grief. So let's clarify that. Just looking at the time there. What are you going to say? Who are you going to say it to? Let's see. All right. There's the Seven of Pentacles. You're going to say it at work? Well, I'll work on that a little bit more. Ooh, it's your soulmate. It's your inner children. This is aspects of you. It's past, the love, past loves. It's the undefended heart of you. It's the part that is going to forget about how great it is to jump into a Two of Cups. Like the work of grieving, which is the Seven of Pentacles seems to be talking about here, says you can slow down, you're going to get a little stuck here, you're waiting, you put in all this work and you're waiting for it to pay off. So this is what you're speaking to. Ooh, and the world, it's over, is what you're saying. It's over. I am complete, I am whole, and this is what you have to say. If you're saying it, if you're saying I'm complete here, you're saying it to your soulmate, you're saying it to your inner children. It's almost like you're saying it to yourself, because I do see this as like an inner solitary hermity process. We do see that you're qualified for the Ten of Cups. I know that this world here, like I am complete as I am, that I am complete. I just always want to read this beautiful world card from the Tarot of the Wild Unknown. So let me indulge myself in that here, because isn't that what this is about? Yeah. That's the very last card in this book. Okay, yeah, and it's quite spent. The world is the final card in the journey of the major arcana. It signifies completion, harmony, and commitment. It's rare to experience this energy, but this is what you're speaking from. As we are usually consumed by wanting, needing, and achieving. So when this card appears, contemplate for a moment the idea of being whole. Focus on the image on the card. Close your eyes and envision this radiating energy inside you. What does it feel like? Where is it located? What blocks you from feeling a sense of wholeness each and every day of your life? This is interesting. To me, this is actually you talking to the part of you that doubts you. It's like, I call it the critical parent. The critical parent is from one mode of dealing with coming up in trauma. Is there's a part of me that got me really far. It got me a PhD. And then one day, it just hurt so much to let that voice in me run me. Because every morning it would say, get out of bed or you're going to fail. You're stupid. I would say these things out loud to myself. And then people that loved me would say, hey, don't call my sweetheart stupid, and nice things like that, and help me hear like how I treated myself. So that's what I kind of feel like you're being told to, because you've worked on this, 7 of Pentacles. I feel like the 6 of Cups, it's like the part of you that undefended love, or I think of it in yoga, is an unstruck place. I learned it from a yoga teacher. Like, this is the place in you that has never had its heart broken. And you need to tell that place, or that place is telling you, your critical parent, or you who are running your life, whoever you are, I'm whole. I have everything I need. I'm complete. You're getting this message quite a bit. You know, this is giving you that message. This is definitely giving you that message. Okay. Why is it hard to hear that? We know why. Because the devil is here. And the tarot wants you to know that. It feels very like self-forgiving to be told by the tarot, hey, this wound is something. It's big. It's held you back for a reason. You're powerless over the devil until you get the Strength card. And the Strength card is not here. So that idea that I conquer the devil in me, maybe that goes with what we read, that I don't get to wait to be healed before I say to myself or anyone that doubts me, like, I'm whole. I have everything I need. I am born perfect. I am like the fool setting off on adventures that qualify me for the star, for wish fulfillment, for healing, for the 10 of Cups, whatever that ideal is. I'm going to use my Queen of Swords boundaries. I'm going to be the Queen of Wands, being very disciplined in what I focus on. Like, if I get into the darkness, that might grow, right? And the devil is the darkness. Scorpio though I am, lover of the darkness, willing and brave to do my moon work, it can keep me back. Can I spend a lot of time doing my what's wrong with me. There's the star. I know that I said the Strength card is the only card that beats the devil, but I just feel like the star promises this as well. This Aquarian energy. It's the same as this sweet little naked woman here in the water. So the star, wish fulfillment, healing. This is here for you. Oh, big cards. The Ascension of Judgment. You've done life right, and you get to rise up out of the darkness here. That just seems like another correction to me. I stand corrected. Okay. And the Son of Wands. This is kind of a Sagittarian, Aries, fire, creation, passion, desire. This is here too. All of these things, the beautiful emotional healing of the star, the transcendent, you're almost there feeling of the Judgment makes me also think about this almost there process from the Fool. Like, she's come from this, or she's almost done with this. And then this, like a real player, passionate energy. I'm going to say that Mars is winning in the conjunction with Saturn here in this reading. Okay, the future. The future. A sweet little page of cups. That looks lovely. It feels like inner child freedom, peace, safety to me. And I when I think about myself, like this is really my inner family. It's my relationships, but the Ten of Cups I can have in solitude. If that's my preference, if that's true to me, it's true to you. Okay, there's another young energy, curiosity and open-mindedness. The Daughter or Page of Swords. A new paradigm. You have left the old world behind. You've gone to the rainbow. Beautiful, beautiful. You're safe. Your mind is a much safer place. You have a new way of looking. I feel like this is the new way of looking in the future from this process. And the Father of Pentacles is here as well. Like you're both these children and you are your Father of Pentacles. You are stable. You are sure. You provide for others. You are the breadwinner. This is in your future. This energy of the Page of Cups is built from this little, up in her head, little Daughter of Swords. She went through a paradigm shift, and then she saw, oh, okay, I see this. This makes it possible for me to be like this in the future, this stability of the Father of Pentacles. I don't know what that means, but I like your journey, and I like it when I think about it being my journey as well. So underlying energies, quite a few, of course. You know, you're complicated. Okay, I'm going to do these pretty quickly here. But so I clarified from the top of the deck, and I'm pulling all the cards that are upright from the bottom of the deck, right? We've seen the Father of Pentacles here now twice with the Hermit. These are underlying energies of the baseline reading. So to add to these, we see the Mother of Cups. She is emotionally intelligent. She speaks from this intelligence. She communicates what she feels openly. She's talking to us about the wound, the self-harm, the thing that cuts her in two. This is her mind. Her mind really hurts her. She's able to talk about this. This is being yourself. The Hierophant. To me, this is coming in as a mentor, as a structure. It feels like that Saturn energy, tradition. To me, this is actually, look on the table, it looks like a part of the self-harm. The part of you that the Mother of, remember you have to communicate on the 20th. Mother of Cups is communicating. She's saying, this hurts. This is what tears me in two. And it comes from these traditions and these structures. High Priestess is here. It's a very different spiritual guide from the Hierophant. This is magic. It's away from the structure. It's the forest for me in Druidry practice, even the tarot. This is how I aspire to be. If I think of like me addressing this wound, like this would be who I would, kind of humbly say, this is who I am. This is better than the Hierophant. I'm liberated from the structure. I mean, the tarot wants to take that raw energy and give it structure. That's what Saturn is doing for you. And then there's something that you're hanging out in the darkness looking at. And remember how we saw the Devil and then we saw this card, right? So like I'm noticing like the bats, in the darkness. Like I almost feel like whatever this is that you're flying up from, it's watching you. It's like, oh, you can do that? So I feel like the Hanged Man is like following the rules of the power of the powerless that I get from Václav Havel, which is the idea that if you live true to yourself, other people can see that and benefit from following your example. They're actually watching you and they're afraid, and that's why they're judging you and maybe even trying to hold you down. But when you do it, you show them it can be done. And then they have their head not in the darkness, but in the light. So that, my little fool, is your reading for this very powerful stellium in Aries, beginning with the new moon on April 17th, followed up by that meeting of Saturn and Mars on the 19th, and then Mercury coming in, and you're going to communicate about your grief. I see you setting boundaries here, and I see you and your little black cat manifesting the world that you want to live in, and it looks really beautiful. So let me know about it in the comments. Very few people come here. Let me know you appreciate it. Let me know what you learned. I'm just interested in when this resonates, and if it's private and I'm not the one that you want to speak to about your grief and this journey of the wound of identity, that's okay. But hey, I want to know you. All right, have a good day.